Well, not surprising considering the year your Atlanta Falcons are having. Last in the league in almost everything. And coming off a 33-0 shutout by the Rams. Rookie quarterback Chris Miller, who made his debut in Los Angeles, will start for you today. But against the top team in the league. Well, your leg injury may not be too serious, but it's easier to smile when second-string quarterback Steve Young can come in and run up 41 points against the Bears. The San Francisco offense didn't skip a beat without you, Joe, and it will have your backup Young at the controls again today. Go 49ers in a big game for San Francisco. They are at 11-2 trying to win the NFC West. New Orleans a game behind. Now right now in Cincinnati, under 7 minutes to play, the Saints have just moved ahead of the Bengals. Hello everybody, I'm Tim Ryan with Joe Theismann here at Candlestick Park. And Joe, yet another quarterback story in this game because we've got Steve Young going for the 49ers for the injured Joe Montana and a rookie Chris Miller starting for Atlanta.
It seems like each week, Tim, we go out and do a ball game and we wind up with a different quarterback situation. This week it's Steve Young for Joe Montana. Steve Young will get the job done. The offensive football team for the 49ers is very confident in his ability. He proved that against Chicago last week. Now, it's important that the 49ers get on top. They don't want to give the Falcons a chance to breathe. On the other side of the coin, talking to Marion Campbell, he says, we have to stay close in this ball game. We can't let them blow us out. Chris Miller gets his chance to debut in the National Football League. He played well against the Rams in the second half last week, but it's not like playing against the San Francisco 49ers. I'll guarantee you, he's got butterflies in his stomach like 747s for this one.
All right, Joe, well, it is an absolutely perfect afternoon. 50 degrees here in San Francisco. Not a whole lot of wind at the moment. Of course, Candlestick can be windy. The Falcons will receive. Ray Wershing kicks it off. The 49ers to our right in their home red. Sylvester Stamps, the NFC kickoff leader, to the 22-yard line. Met by Carlton Williamson, number 27 of the 49ers. And here comes the rookie out of Oregon. A holdout and ready to face a tough 49er defense. Outwardly saying that he is calm, prepared, and excited about this game. But as Joe said, got to be nervous. Stover, yeah. Carter, and Bohr.
I watched him down on the field. I'll tell you something. That arm's a little bit tight to the shoulder.
Todd Shell there for the injured Keena Turner, and a solid secondary playing very well indeed for the 49ers. Passing on first down, Miller gets lots of time. Almost intercepted. The ball a little high for the intended receiver, Aubrey Matthews.
What'll happen here is, you know, he makes the play action pass. Now he buys himself some time, but he just is the kind of guy that, like I said, we've got a lot of adrenaline flying, and that ball just goes sailing over the intended receiver's head. Another thing Chris Miller's going to have to be careful of, being a young quarterback, Ronnie Lott is a veteran safety. He will read his eyes this afternoon, so he's got to be real conscious not to look at his intended receiver all the time.
Riggs and John Settle are the running backs. Atlanta showing a pro set in this first series, normally a one-back offense. Miller on second down hits Matthews, and Matthews will be very close to the first down. Had that one on a rope. And offensively for Atlanta, Riggs, Middleton is the H-back, Matthews, Floyd Dixon, Arthur Cox the tight end. Offensive line, one of the only areas of the Atlanta team that has not suffered a lot of injuries this year. Ken, Scully, Radloff, Freilich, and Leonard Mitchell. Mitchell supplanting Brett Miller, who was injured earlier in the year. Marion Campbell, who has really had to struggle, as we see the measurement here, with a defense that has been decimated with injuries, and they have the first down.
You know, as a young quarterback, what happens is you get your first completion, you get a first down, and you can just sort of take a big, deep breath and go, ah, now I can relax a little bit. Now it's not such a bad thing if you don't score.
All right, look at this. New Orleans now 34-24 over Cincinnati, 5:30 remaining in the fourth quarter. Now, a New Orleans loss, a San Francisco win, would give San Francisco the NFC West title in the home field. However, it looks like the Saints are en route to victory. They were down 24-3. First down, Atlanta. Riggs only about a yard to the 35-yard line. Gerald Riggs, 787 yards coming into the game today. Not happy at being sat down last week against the Rams in favor of the rookie Kenny Flowers. he can still make a 1,000-yard season. Last week, he had only 8 carries for 31 against the Rams.
And what we've just seen is the San Francisco 49ers. There you see in the huddle, Gerald Riggs listening to the call. It's important for Atlanta to gain more than 1 yard on first down because San Francisco will substitute their nickel package, and that's where they really can confuse a quarterback.
Second down. Miller rolling. Flag down. Incomplete. He just threw that one out of bounds. There was double coverage on the intended receiver, Dixon. So an intelligent play by Miller, but a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. You had to be impressed in chatting with Miller, his calm demeanor. He said, I'm not a cocky kind of a guy. but on the other hand, what came through loud and clear was plenty of confidence.
You too, huh?
He might not want to call it cockiness, but certainly there was a sense of that. And Joe, I think you might be representative of the notion that you're not any good at quarterback in this league unless you are cocky.
Grabbing the face miss on a defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, holding penalty, and that's a first down.
That's right, Ben. The animated Ben Dreif making the call. You're right, Tim. I think a quarterback of all the positions on the field has got, speaking of quarterbacks, has got to have the confidence and the supreme confidence that he can get the job done. And there's a guy who I believe it's going to be between Joe Montana and Jerry Rice as far as who the MVP is, I believe, in this year. And it's a real compliment to the 49ers to have both of them on the same team.
Montana inactive today, not even in uniform because of the hamstring and knee injury suffered against the Bears. First down, Atlanta at the 40-yard line. Perfect strike to Riggs from Miller to the 45-yard line. And for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tim, it was quite a comeback by the Saints. 49er fans interested in this. At one time, 24-3 Bengals. Then the Saints came all the way back. Here they picked off a pass moments ago, returned it down inside the 5. That set up the touchdown. They lead by 10. They're going to win. Let's go back to Tim and Joe.
All right, Brent. Falcons
That's
here.
That's a chop block, illegal chop block on the offense. 15 yards.
Take a 15-yard penalty on an illegal chop block, and they are marched back to the 25 instead of having it at the 45-yard line. Ben Dreif did not announce who the culprit was. Now, just as the Falcons break the huddle, the 49ers run 3 new defenders on the field.
And that's their nickel package. They bring in different people to play different positions.
Haley and Roberts have come on for the pass rush. Riggs is stuffed as the Falcons try to come up the middle. Kevin Fagan, number 75, made initial contact.
And that credit's got to go to the coaches of the 49ers, the defensive coaches, making the substitution after they know Atlanta had the offensive signal. First down and 10, you figure Atlanta's going to run a play against what is the base 3-4 defense for the 49ers. All of a sudden, you break the huddle, and there's 3 new people coming in. You got a 4-man front instead of a 3-man front, and it's a bunch of confusion. So credit the defensive coaches for the 49ers with that stop.
And no doubt that they are trying to do that as late as they can to make it more difficult for the rookie.
Absolutely. Quarterback hates that.
Second and 25 for Atlanta. John Settle. Good piece of running by Settle. Got to the 32-yard line. Stopped by Larry Roberts, number 91 of the 49ers. John Settle, a guy that Marion Campbell likes, one of those unknown free agents. They took him out of Appalachian State, went into their training camp, and the kind of a player who was set back like many others by having to sit out during the strike when he could have been gaining NFL experience. But they like this young man. He can catch the football out of the backfield.
I think that's become the movement now in the league, is to find a back who not only can run but also catch the football. Very important down for Chris Miller. He doesn't want to do anything foolish here and make a mistake. He's got to be very precise with this pass.
Sylvester Stamps is in there as an extra receiver. It is third down and about 14. Good protection to the short man, incomplete. That was Stamps. And so Atlanta will have to punt.
Well, he made the right decision trying to go to the short man who was open. It would not have been enough for the first down, but it was a good read by the young quarterback. I'm impressed. I think, he handles himself very well. That's a heck of a group of football players he's playing against. I mean, that's just not a stand-up bunch of 11 dummies.
No, I'd say for his first series, not only did he survive, but he looked like an NFLer. Donnelly will punt. Dana McLemore had an 83-yard return last week against the Bears Monday night. Short punt from Donnelly. McLemore stopped at the 30-yard line. Flags fly. 35-yard punt by Donnelly. John Rady made the tackle. Donnelly came in here as the #1 punter in the conference, averaging 44.8 yards. Did not get a hold of that one.
You know, with Jerry Rice so close to the possibility of setting a couple of NFL records.
Illegal blocker number 52 on a receiving team. That's 10 yards. And we got a timeout.
Illegal block from George Cooper, reserve linebacker, just activated this week. 11:26 to go. First period. We're scoreless.
I started to mention before where you want to get the ball maybe to Jerry Rice up the field for a big 6.
Well, they tried to get John Taylor with a long pass on first down out to the 40-yard line of Atlanta, but it's out of bounds and incomplete.
Well, Bill Walsh has got a similar situation to what Marion Campbell has with Chris Miller with Steve Young back in the quarterback spot instead of Joe Montana. He's got a lot of adrenaline. He's got a lot of enthusiasm. And you get him to throw a long one, it settles him down, it gets everything flowing at a normal pace. He's a very high-strung, intense young man. And it's going to be important that he relaxes himself and settles down in this offense.
Last week, the numbers weren't so impressive. Many of them were the early passes that were incomplete when he was a little tight, but he threw for 4 touchdowns. That number was very impressive.
Well, the other thing you have to also consider, too, Tim, is of the 19 passes he has thrown, 5 of them have been for touchdowns up until this previous incompletion. So, although it doesn't look like the percentages there, the production in TD sure is.
Rathman picked up about 3 yards along, 3 we'll call it, on second down for the 49ers. Greg Brown on the tackle for Atlanta, number 98. San Diego on top of Indianapolis early. We'll be tracking that one in that log-jammed AFC East. Third down. Good protection for Young, and it is tipped away. Intended for Ken Marjoram, just activated this week. And the Falcons break it up, forcing the 49ers to punt.
Well, I think what's happened on this first series is it served notice to the 49ers. Number one, Marion Campbell says, look, I believe we can win. We're going to come out here and play the kind of football I think my team can. We've gone through a lot of adversity. Certainly things haven't gone our way, but we're not throwing in the towel. We're going to be able to come out and play with the 49ers, and we're going to do our best to stay in the game. But we have to stay close. So far, they've done it.
Runniger for the 49ers from his own 15. A short punt. Takes a 49er bounce and rolls over the 35 of the Atlanta Falcons. Billy Johnson back there for it. Just let the ball play as they'll have good field position for young Chris Miller. Turns into a 42-yard punt for Runniger. Minnesota has defeated Detroit 17-14. St. Louis and Tampa Bay are just underway. Dallas and the Rams play tomorrow night. Now, we've just been told Tampa has taken the lead over St. Louis. These teams all involved in that NFC wild card scramble. Minnesota, with their victory today, certainly enhances their chances. A win next week would clinch it for them. And they play Washington at home. In fact, Joe and I will be there to cover that game for you. First down, Atlanta. Play action. Miller, screen. Riggs. Gerald Riggs to the 17-yard line of San Francisco. An absolutely perfectly executed screenplay.
And a lot of credit to the play calling of the Falcons as well. You'll see the play action fake, and Joe Riggs is going to slide out. He's going to get the pressure. Chris Miller does a good job of drawing the defense to him, and then dumps it off and allows Gerald Riggs to take off. Good fake, holds the linebackers. Now they say, gosh, we have to get back into coverage. You see the block? All you have to do is lay down. People jump over. Here's another one on Ronnie Lott.
Excellent play by the Falcons. They spotted at the 19, a 47-yard gain. Miller pumps. Lots of time. Can't find a man. Out of bounds calmly at the 23-yard line. So he'll lose about 4 on the play.
Well, you know, calmly, yes. You say calmly out of bounds. He really should have thrown the ball away there. I mean, you're first down and 10 on the 19. You're running play action passes. And what we mentioned earlier is the 49ers, the only time you really know what defense they're going to be in is on first and 10. They haven't blitzed much in the last 3 or 4 weeks, so you can run the play action passes and get time to throw the ball. That would have been a good one where he could have just looked downfield. If nobody's there, throw it away. No harm, 2nd down and 10. But he's young, and I'm impressed with his movement anyway.
Good coverage downfield by the 49ers. And so now they're back at the 23 of San Francisco. Flowers and Settle. Kenny Flowers, a rookie from Clemson, in at running back. Well, that one he had to throw away because he was being rushed heavily by Larry Roberts, number 91. The first real serious pressure the 49ers have been able to get on him, where a man actually had a chance to make a tackle.
Well, quite often, if you look at the 49ers defensively, they'll get a lot more pressure in 2nd down and 3rd down long situations, what they have now. Now they can bring the linebackers and the safety and help out that defensive lineman. When you've only got 3 defensive linemen in the game, it's tough to get pressure on the quarterback when they have to first be concerned with the run fake.
6 defensive backs in. Williamson and Torrey Nixon joining the secondary of the 49ers. Intercepted by Williamson at the 5-yard line. Intended for Charlie Brown.
What you're going to see is to the right part of your screen, Sylvester Stamps is going to come out of the backfield. Now, Chris Miller reads the defense correctly, but he does not hold Carlton Williamson. He sloughs back inside. He makes the throw, but Williamson is right there as Stamps goes by. It was a double zone, and he tried to go down the middle where you're supposed to, but you got to look that safety off.
From the 30-yard line, Mick Luckhurst, just his 10th attempt of the season. Blocked. Jeff Fuller came up with the ball, and I think he's the man who blocked it. But we'll wait and see if we can on a replay.
You're going to see it come from right over here. You're going to see the pressure up the middle. Now remember, Luckhurst is a left-footed kicker. There they go, right up the tube. Everybody coming at you.
Hard to tell who got it, but it is a block and a 1st down. San Francisco at their 21. 49ers, Young the quarterback. Roger Craig high stepping it over the 30-yard line, and a pickup of about 9 yards for Roger Craig. Tim Gordon, rookie safety, made the tackle.
There's the man that blocked the field goal, Steve Wallace. He's an offensive tackle. Now he's right in the middle. You're going to watch that big hand come up and swat the ball back. Michael Jordan would be proud. Look at him get up. There goes the left arm, right arm. Didn't get it with one, got it with the other. Those big mitts.
6'5", Steve Wallace. Only Luckhurst's 10th attempt of the season, an odd stat for a field goal kicker. He's played every game.
And the first in over a month.
Right. 2nd and a yard. San Francisco. Rathman picks up the 1st down. Stopped by Greg Brown, the right defensive end. They have shuffled up that 4-man front of the Falcons considerably, mainly because of injuries. They got Bryan back after he had missed 3 consecutive games. So they've got Dennis Harrison and Bryant at ends, Gann and Brown at tackles.
And there in your picture is Tom Rathman. Now, when you talk to Roger Craig and the offensive lineman and Bill Walsh, they credit Tom Rathman's emergence and the job he's done this year as being a big part of what the offense has done for the 49ers.
Ken Marjoram in it, wide receiver, play action for Young. In and out of the hands of Jerry Rice. Young had some mustard on that one. Got right through the hands of Jerry Rice.
Yeah, and one thing you can't see is the sun is behind Steve Young. Now, left-handed, right-handed, doesn't matter. Rice is going to come in from the left part of your screen. Now, you see the shadows? He's really looking back into a very glaring sun, and I don't think he could quite see the ball. Jerry Rice is not going to drop him when they're in it. But that's the look he's seeing. You see the glare? It's very hard to pick the ball up as it comes out of the sun, you know, like a zero. Or remember that.
So ideally, the 49ers would like to have the other end of the field early in the game.
That's
here
right.
At San Francisco on a sunny day. 2nd down, Young got a man open, Rice, and he has a 1st down at the 50-yard line. Scott Case, number 25, the right cornerback, made the tackle.
Now you're going to say, now why does it work on the outside? There comes Rice. He's going to come down and make a little break outside. Very Just a deep out pattern. Nice and simple. Young goes back, reads the defense. Now you see how Case has turned. He's heading upfield. He knows Jerry Rice can run deep, so he says, I got to stop him from getting upfield. Rice puts on the brakes and bang. Now, throwing the outside of the field is much easier to see than down the middle.
17-yard gain, the ball at midfield. Craig. Forced wide. Good defensive play by Reggie Wilkes. Wilkes has just come off injured reserve, still bothered by a groin pull. One of an assortment of linebackers injured this season for Atlanta. The veteran acquired from Philadelphia by Marion Campbell, who had coached him there back last season.
Well, and if you look at the defense of Atlanta, you've got Dennis Harrison, who was in Philadelphia, Reggie Wilkes, Greg Brown, Joel Williams. You get quite a few people just in that front seven that have been, and Marion Campbell does know him, in Philadelphia with him.
6 ex-Eagles on the Falcons roster. Rolling left, Steve Young. Rathman. First down yardage to the Atlanta 34-yard line. Linebacker John Rady made the tackle. It is now final in Cincinnati. The Saints, from 24-3 down, came back to whip Cincinnati 41-24. And as of this moment, they are virtually in a tie with the 49ers. And San Francisco must win here today and beat the Rams next week to win the division.
I was in the locker room. I mentioned to Bruce Colley when the score was 24-10. He says, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know about it. The 49ers know that their job is to go out and win football games, not worry about New Orleans.
Roger Craig started off tackle, cut it back inside, and John Rady was waiting for him there. Talking with John Rady about playing middle linebacker. They normally play 3-4s, you know, Joe, and forced into a 4-3 because of all the linebacker injuries. But he said, actually, I'm not unhappy. He said, I like playing that middle man in the 4-3. He said, it's like driving a car. You can see to your left, see to your right. So I have good peripheral vision. I like being there alone.
I think it's like driving a car on a speedway with people coming at you.
Yeah, kind of like motorball.
That's right.
30-yard line, second down, and about 7 for the Niners. Steve Young slides into the 17-yard line, eluding the Falcon rush and taking off. He is a dangerous runner.
Well, this is the thing. What you're going to do is you're going to see the play action fake. He's going to step up and then boom, just head on up the field. Marion Campbell was really more concerned, I think, with this particular type of play out of Steve Young than anything else. His ability to run. You see Rady in pass coverage. Now he outruns Dennis Harrison, and there's really no, it's a mismatch. You got a guy who runs about 4'6" at quarterback being chased by a defensive lineman. That is what Steve Young gives a different look to the 49ers than Joe Montana, his running ability.
2 fakes, and down the middle, Frank wide open. Stopped at about the 1-yard line. 17-yard gain. A double pump fake. And then the tight end delay in the middle.
Young goes back. He pumps here to the left. He pumps here to the right. Rathman's going to sneak, or Frank's going to sneak right in the middle, and there isn't going to be a soul in the middle of that football field. I watched them practice this on Friday, and it was as wide open on Friday as it is here today. Look at that. Not a soul in the middle. Now Franks thinks he's in.
Scott Case was the man to upset him at the 1-yard line. Roger Craig going up top, and he is stopped. Good penetration by the front of the Atlanta Falcons. Gave him nowhere to go. Rady was the guy who got a hold of him.
You see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a whole bunch of people. What they're going to do is it's just a surge. It's nose to nose. Get your rear end in the air and your nose in the ground and try and drive that line back. And they do. Anytime the defensive line can get a stalemate with the offensive line, the advantage goes to the defense. And there you see the leapers coming in.
Almost seemed like Craig saw that he was going to have to make a near record broad jump to get in.
Yeah, watch the 49ers throw this one.
Incomplete for Jerry Rice. Ball was low, and by the time he actually got his hands on it, he was out of bounds anyway.
That's a good decision by Steve Young. He didn't get the look he wanted on defense, and he threw the ball in the ground. Unusual to see Jerry Rice. Usually they get the tight ends in around the goal line. It's unusual to see a wide receiver lined up in a wing position to block people. That's sort of a tip to the defense that says, hey, Jerry Rice isn't really going to block anybody. We have to be concerned with him being a pass receiver.
3rd and goal inside the 1. What a job by the Falcons. Craig was almost there, but John Rady, a tower of strength down there. Hesitate to use that cliche, but my goodness, that's what he was. What a tremendous muscle effort.
Well, the Falcons did not buy the motion. You see Rice at the top of your screen, number 80. What you're going to get is your Rathman's going to go in motion. Just a little adjustment, but an excellent job of staying home by that Falcon defense. 49ers are going to go for it.
Jesse Tuggle there with him to help. The reserve linebacker in on the goal line defense. 4th and goal.
I think I'd give Steve Young a pass run option here.
Loose ball. Craig and Young. Problem in the exchange. Atlanta will take over. Rick Bryan came up with it, but it was 4th down, and they had stopped them short again. Well, what a lift that ought to give the Atlanta Falcons.
Very uncharacteristic. There you see, again, the goal line defense. All the Falcons lined up right across that barrier. Now they're just going to fire through. This ball is fumbled. It's everybody gets set, quick count. Let's see if we can catch him off guard. Young gets the ball and never really gets it to Roger Craig. Never really gets it on his stomach. Therefore, the ball pumps out. You'll see right here, he's going to head right over the right tackle. Bruce Collins.
1st down from inside their 1 for the Falcons. Chris Miller, the quarterback, rookie from Oregon, number 1 pick. First start. Play action. He's got the ball. Takes it out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Good call. Good call.
This guy can run. We've got a running quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and everybody who has seen Miller play in college knows that he is a runner too.
Well, he has great athletic ability, and that's a great call.
2nd down, 6. Gerald Riggs. Tremendously powerful running back. Blasts his way up close to the 10-yard line. Stover and Fuller on the stop, and Seattle beating up on Chicago, spoiling the final regular season home game for Walter Payton. 34-21, a big win for the Seahawks, however. In their battle in the AFC West, Seattle now moves to 9-5. Denver at 9-4-1 with their victory yesterday, a squeaker over Kansas City. 3rd down, 2 to go, Atlanta. Riggs again, nowhere to go. Wayne Board just straightened up his blocker and knocked him back into Riggs. So the 49ers defensive front shows some muscle.
Well, again, it's a question of play calling. I wasn't really thrilled with the calls down on the goal line by the 49ers. I think they should give Steve Young a run-pass option. He runs the ball very well. You got Jerry Rice. So put the ball in the guy's hand. If he doesn't like what he wants, you know, give him a chance to get in the end zone. Down here, good time for a play-action pass on 3rd and 2. Fake it to Gerald Riggs. You know the 49ers are going to be aggressive to try and stop you from getting the 1st down. And then you may be able to pop somebody out like they did on the screen earlier in the 1st quarter.
Donnelly standing in the end zone to punt. Dana McLemore at midfield for the 49ers. Good kick this time from Donnelly, a dandy. Fair catch signal by McLemore, and he was backing up as he caught it at the 35-yard line. They'll mark it at the 37 of San Francisco. 52-yarder. We are scoreless in the 1st period. And Stan gave them a terrific lift after a 33-0 beating at the hands of the Rams last week.
Oh, it certainly did. They're in the ball game. That's what's important. I mean, they wanted to. Talk to Marion Campbell. He said, we want to stay close in this football game so we can utilize Gerald Riggs in our running game. We want to be able to stay in it with the 49ers, and they have. There you saw an excellent defensive play.
Steve Young trying to get it to John Taylor on 1st down.
Bobby Butler.
And Butler with good coverage. Talking to Bobby Butler last night when the Falcons arrived from Oxnard, where they've been this past week practicing. He was mainly concerned about not being the guy that Jerry Rice burns for that record-breaking touchdown. That's right. Roger Craig stopped on the corner. Good defensive reaction by Robert Moore, the young strong safety, and the linebacker Joel Williams. An injury report on Ronnie Lott.
Yeah, he hurt what he did is he's got that little pinched nerve in his right shoulder that sends that tinge up and down it. But Ronnie Lott's the kind of guy who you can count on being back in. Having a conversation with him, he would like to play strong safety. Even though he is a weak safety, he said, I'd like to be able to hit people a little bit more.
3rd down and 7. Roger Craig, short of the first down, tripped up by the linebacker Joe Costello, number 56, out of Central Connecticut State.
Jerry Rice, the complete football player. Can he block? Roger Craig's going to come out around. Now, is this a push? Is this a block? Who's blocking who? Doesn't matter. He got the job done. Blocking on Robert Moore, number 34. See, that's the job of a wide receiver. Just get in front of those defensive backs. You don't have to knock them to the ground and devastate them.
Well, Atlanta stops the 49ers, and Runniger gets off a dandy punt inside the 5. Billy White Shoes Johnson. 50-yard punt by Runniger, and Johnson stopped at the 7-yard line.
And a bad decision by Billy White Shoes to take that ball.
So we have run out of time in the first period, still scoreless.
13 plays,
used up 6:35 on the clock, and came away with no points. And it wasn't a missed field goal or a blocked field goal. It was being stuffed at the goal line. And
Bruce Colley into the pits for a little repair.
there's a guy that was upset about that finesse stuff, as the 49ers have come to be known, because of the brainy work of their coach Bill Walsh. Colley says, hey, we're as physical as anybody else. We proved it against the Bears. First down for the Falcons. Chris Miller, play action. Incomplete. The pass dropped out over the 10-yard line by the tight end Arthur Cox, number 88. And the Jets are eliminated from the playoffs, but the Eagles, who have been slumping lately, beating up on the Jets in New York 38-27. So now Indianapolis at 7-6, Miami at 7-6, Buffalo, a loser today to New England, saw themselves fall into a tie with the Patriots. Second and 10, Falcons. Miscue there, flags everywhere as Miller came back without the ball.
That happens to a young quarterback. You know, he lines up.
Offense number 78.
Well, they called it.
The distance to the goal.
They called it on Mike Ken, the left tackle, but he's the lower right part of your screen. You see him look inside. Now he starts to lean back. Actually, that penalty should have been called on the quarterback, not the tackle. That was Chris Miller pulling out too soon. But what he saw is he saw 5 defensive linemen getting ready to bear down on his little body. And he got a little antsy getting out of there.
So they move it back to the 3-yard line. Second and 13 for Miller. Dan Sharp, second tight end, moves over to make the strong side left. Riggs follows him over the 10 to the 12-yard line. Good piece of running by Gerald Riggs. Picks up about 9 yards. McKyer and Charles Haley on the tackle for the 49ers. It'll leave third down and about 4. Now this, of course, a big day for Chris Miller. He said he was excited about starting and said to his mom and pop, who are sitting right there, come on down from Eugene, Oregon. Bring all the family and friends. Bought a bunch of tickets. And they're here to watch their son make his first NFL start against the team with the best record of the National Football League. And he completes the pass for the first down. Aubrey Matthews, and that'll make Jess and Jane Miller happy.
Let's see what a mother goes through. You see Jane on the left, Jess on the right, the Millers. There she is. Okay. Oh, should I clap? Oh. Notice, you know, Dad always sits there looking like I knew he could do it. And Mom goes through anguishing experiences as far as what's going on to her son.
Well, keep an eye on Dad. I got a feeling he'll get to his feet if this young man gets something into the end zone.
If they get close. Even if they get close, he'll get up.
First down, Atlanta. 17-yard line. Play action. It'll roll to the left, and a Pass out on the left side to John Settle, and he'll be close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to put it right at the spot. And it is an Atlanta first down.
And it's interesting. You saw a quick shot of Chris Miller walk up to Bill Fralick and explain to him probably what he thought Dwayne Board was going to do. And he says, next time he does that, just take him inside. I'll roll outside. That is really presence on a field, to be able to communicate to the other players and tell them what you see so that they know if you do it again, they know where you'll be. I'm really impressed with the game plan, too, of moving Miller from side to side.
That's Rod Dowhauer's game plan. Hard running by Settle. 49ers must be saying, who's this guy? Free agent from Appalachian State. A little bowling ball body, 5'9", 207-pounder.
They're probably saying, what's the record of this football team we're up against? Coming right at you. Settles is going to come with a little over lead draw. You'll see him from the right part of your screen. Miller, a little half draw fake. There he makes his move. Settle just keeps breaking people. Finally, Mike Walter manages to bulldog him down.
It leaves a 2nd and 2. Play action fake to Riggs. The pass to Aubrey Matthews. Did he catch it or not? It was very low. So far, it looks like a catch.
Doesn't look like any 40. You can always check the defense. See if the 49ers are arguing. The fans don't like it.
The fans didn't like it, naturally. 14-yard gain to the 50-yard line.
Now, you see Dad starting to smile just a little bit. He'll make the throw over the left part of your screen. Aubrey Matthews going to dive down low. Well, looked good. Can't really tell, but it looked good. Obviously, the officials thought so.
Aubrey Matthews from Delta State, a free agent out of the USFL last year, spent most of the season on injured reserve. Has supplanted Stacey Bailey at wide receiver. Miller in trouble, gets the ball off, and fortunately for him, it drops into some open space. He was way back and very nearly in the grasp of Larry Roberts.
That's one of those things where you throw it out. First of all, you never throw it late in the middle. Secondly, you shouldn't throw it up in the middle when you're going down. He got away with both of them. Now, we saw how happy his mom was before. Let's see what she goes through this time. Watch it. See that? Look out. Oh, my goodness.
I want to tell you something. Jess Miller reminds me of one of those guys in that wine cooler commercial.
Frank? Is that Frank?
I don't know, but if he starts playing the xylophone on the bottles, we'll know. Riggs.
They're going to call a face mask penalty.
Did not gain an inch, but he got a face mask penalty probably.
Jeff Fuller trying to bulldog Gerald Riggs down. You saw the flag come right out as they were dancing towards the sidelines. That's the signal. Ben Drive gives a signal. Now, Gerald Riggs is going to come right at you.
5-yard face mask on a runner. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
See, actually, who's got whose face mask, to be honest with you?
Well, you know, Ben Dwight inadvertently said 5-yard face mask on the runner. And in that case, as you pointed out, looks like there was a little of each.
I think Ben saw one thing. The official made the call, saw another thing, so they wind up penalizing the 49ers. 49ers have got to come up with a big play on defense right now. They're going to have to slow down this Falcon offense to get back into the rhythm of the game.
St. Louis and Tampa Bay tied. Minnesota, if the Cardinals lose, can clinch a wild card spot. Riggs picks up about 3 yards. He'll be short of the first down. Michael Carter made the tackle there for the 49ers as the Falcons marched up to the 41-yard line of San Francisco.
You know, the one thing in conversing with Bill Walsh, the thing that concerned him the most about the Falcons, and forget about the slashing they took last week from the Rams. So they played well against Minnesota, should have beaten them. They played well against Dallas and did beat them. He said, we don't want to just see number 42 running up inside all day. And that's what they're giving him a taste of now, is Gerald Riggs up inside.
Miller being pursued by the safety blitzing Fuller. Throws it up and out of bounds. And it'll be 4th down. Flag on the play, back at the line of scrimmage. I don't think Miller realizes there's a penalty yet. He may have another down. Let's see who it's against. Rod Dowhauer, the offensive coordinator, former head coach of the Colts, chatting with him. And it's against Atlanta.
Now, Ben looked like he grabbed for the face mask, then he grabbed for his wrist, then he grabbed for his nose. And it's going to be some kind of a penalty, either case. I'd refuse it if I was the 49ers because you want to, get the ball back.
Offense number 78 grabbed the face mask. They declined the penalty. It's going to be 4th down.
So it was an offensive grab of the face mask. And Atlanta will punt. Scoreless football game. 10:45 remaining here in the first half of play in San Francisco. Donnelly in to punt. McLemore waiting for it at the 49er 10. Well, a game effort to try and keep that ball out of the end zone by Ron Middleton, but unable to do so. So we'll be back. Nose to nose and 0-0. First down, San Francisco. Play action. Young deep for Rice. Overthrown. Scott Case and Tim Gordon double covering Rice, who had a step on him.
That's something he learned from Joe Montana. When you overthrow a receiver, you grab your head with both hands and go, oh, geez. I mean, that's one of those little things that you pick up just watching another quarterback. It's real different, the offense that the 49ers are playing. I mean, it's unaccustomed to the way they've attacked defenses. A lot of credit to Marion Campbell and the job he's done with that defense. And it's going to be important that the 49ers don't keep feeding the Falcons with confidence.
Young rolling left. Nowhere to go. Forced out by Joel Williams. And Joe, we have to make the point about how well Atlanta's defense is playing. Okay, it's not Montana. It's Young, etc. But they are still a beat-up group of defenders. Tony Casillas still out of action. Buddy Curry, Brett Clark, Tim Green, 4 starters out of their defensive lineup. As we've mentioned, and most NFL fans know, they've been injury-riddled on defense through the entire season. And still today, those 4 starters out of action. Casillas on the inactive list today, the other 3 on injured reserve. So far, the guys filling in doing an outstanding job. 3rd down. 49ers. He's nearly 5. Young for John Frank. Good catch. First down, San Francisco.
And a good throw also. Good
Tim Gordon, the rookie safety on the coverage, made the tackle.
Good read, good throw. Steve Young is going to go to the tight end, John Frank. You'll see him on the right part of your screen now. He just runs a little corner pattern, does a nice job of reading, and just lays this thing out perfect. We know he's got a strong arm, but he also proved right there he can put a ball with some touch on it.
Harris Barton has left the offensive right tackle spot with an injury, and Steve Wallace, number 74, has taken over there. First down, 49ers at midfield. Joe Cribbs. Little reverse look, picks up about 8 to the 42-yard line of Atlanta.
And a nice piece of hurdling by Joe Cribbs, getting around the corner, leaps right up, picks up a good 8, 9 yards.
Barton comes back in after missing a play.
Yeah, you can't keep those linemen out very long.
Number 1 pick from North Carolina in this somewhat reshuffled line. You know, at the beginning of the season, the writers here in San Francisco, after they lost their first game, were saying, well, look, just what we've been telling you, folks. Too old, too slow. What about Montana, etc. This line has developed very well indeed with the guys who've come in. Cribbs picks up the first down and then some to the 36-yard line. Wilkes and Case on the tackle. Now you can see the transition in the line. Now these players were here, but the effect was from the local media back at the beginning of the year to just write off the fact that these guys were ready to play, like Jesse Sapolo. And the fact that Cross could move to center when Quillen got hurt, that Bruce Colley was ready to start, that a #1 pick like Barton could be a starter in his rookie year. Bill Walton and his staff obviously had a lot of confidence in them. Rathman picks up about 2.
This is the kind of football the 49ers have to run. A little bit of running on 1st and down, 1st and 10. Take your shot when you get a chance. There's Bob Galliano. Ooh. There's your backup, of course, with Joe Montana out. He was activated today. Those are his 87 stats.
From Utah State, 4-year man, played on their replacement team during the strike. 2nd down, 7. Young out of the backfield. Craig, a lot of room. All the way to the 12-yard line, tripped up there by Tim Gordon.
You see, now that's the kind of offense the 49ers. You're going to see Craig come out and just cut in the middle and catch about a 5-yard pass and turn it into a big gainer. Good protection by the line. You see Frank clear out. Now there it is. That's just a 5-yard pass. But if you get Roger Craig the ball in the open field with a 5-yard pass, he's going to be a 20, 25-yard gain.
22 to be exact. 1st down at the 12. Craig. Good second effort by Craig as he was nearly stopped behind the line by Mike Gann, number 76, the tackle out of Notre Dame. Slashed through and took a dive at Craig. Craig got away from him, turned it upfield for 4. Brown and Wilkes finally got him.
There you see Mike Gann walking around. He knows he had a shot at Roger Craig. They talk to themselves. He's just walking back to the huddle talking to himself. Gosh, right, just a little, I don't know, gee whiz. That's the kind of stuff that goes on.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
It's a very articulate bunch out there. But 2nd down. They need to get to the 1 for a 1st down. Rathman, nowhere. Now the 49ers got to be a little leery here because they got stuffed at the 1-yard line the last time they were this close. Joel Williams this time, the veteran linebacker, made the tackle. And I would think, Joe, as you must be thinking, they're going to try and throw the ball in here.
Oh, I think he has to. Either throw the ball, try and isolate a back on a linebacker, or try and give Steve Young an option to run or pass by sprinting and moving him out.
3rd down, 4 yards for a 1st down.
I'll tell you, the other thing you could do is possibly run Jerry Rice on a reverse.
Yes, you could. Touchdown.
That was the 3rd option.
How did you know that, Joe?
I watched. There's Jerry Rice. What's going to happen is he's lined up in the wing position. He's just going that way, folks. Rathman will come in motion into your picture. That's Craig. Little fake inside to Rathman. And when you get that misdirection with a guy like Jerry Rice's speed, he just heads for that yellow cone. And he's going to get in.
Like I said, I would throw down here.
Well, you know, I said you could do a few things.
Worshing for the point after. Max Runniger holding. Runniger handles a high snap well. Worshing kicks it through. And we have our first points with 5:40 to go in the 1st half. The goal line by Sylvester Stamp. And he gets out to the 23-yard line. Jim Fonhorst made the tackle. Well, as you can see, we have points on the board here. San Francisco's touchdown by Jerry Rice, a 5-yard reverse run. New Orleans defeated Cincinnati 41-24. Dave Wilson in for the injured Bobby Hebert at quarterback. Pulled out the victory to move the Saints to 11-3. And so San Francisco needs to win here today. They play the Rams at home next week. The Saints have Green Bay. They're going to go right to the wire in the NFC West. Miller gets some time, hits Rakes. Jeff Fuller takes him out of bounds at the 30-yard line, a gain of close to 8.
Oh, you've got to give an awful lot of credit to that offensive line of Mike Kent, John Scully, Wayne Radliff, Bill Fralick, and Leonard Mitchell. What the 49ers did is, like we talked about earlier, they like to just play with the 4 defensive linemen or 3 defensive linemen on 1st down. That time they brought their entire nickel package in. Charles Haley, Roberts, Fagan, they put them all in the ball game. But Miller was able to have the time to complete the ball to Riggs for a big completion.
Second and short. John Settle in the backfield, goes in motion. Riggs again, cuts it back well and has a first down all the way out to the 41. Michael Walter made the tackle. There's Jerry Rice.
Hi, Jerry. You get to wait. Yeah, sneak, you can wave to him. Hi. This is his touchdown. What is going to happen is you're going to see the fake into the line after the man goes in motion. Now, Jerry Rice is just going to go this way. But watch the reaction of the defensive players when the ball is faked into the line. See how everybody takes a step up? Just that one little hesitation, and with Jerry Rice going the other way, nobody's going to catch him.
So it is first down Atlanta at the 41-yard line. John Settle. Not much running room. Michael Walter, number 99, makes the tackle.
This is an important series of possession for the Atlanta Falcons. You can sense the 49ers now. The first quarter's over. Okay, they're over the lethargic start and saying, all right, the Falcons don't have a very good record. We can come out. As much as you talk about it, you still aren't as up, particularly coming off a big game like the Chicago game. Now they've settled into the flow and tempo of the game. The Falcons have got to mount some kind of a drive to slow their momentum down. The 49ers momentum.
Second and 9 for young Miller. It's Settle out of the backfield. First down. Good pass, good catch. Walter and Fonhorst, the middle linebackers, converge on John Settle, a rookie from Appalachian State.
There you see where Atlanta's gotten the ball in the first half so far. On their own 24, 34, 2 and 6 weren't very good starts. They wound up punting, and the 23-yard line. So overall, Chris Miller's had some pretty good ranges to operate from. It's good for a young man. Get a little experience, back up in your own end zone, upfield a little bit.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun starting from your 2.
Oh, yeah.
First down at the 47 of San Francisco. That is Kenny Flowers, the rookie from Clemson. Now, he got in against the Rams last week when Marion Campbell started Chris Miller in the second half and Flowers for Riggs in that second half. And he picked up 15 yards on 3 carries, caught 3 passes. And this is a guy that they have high hopes for. The number 2 pick out of Clemson was hurt earlier in the year, so he's missed valuable playing time. But they think, like Miller, he represents the future. Second and 6. They hope to get Flowers and Riggs together in the backfield. That'll be the change for Atlanta offensively next year. Long count by Miller, looking over that defense. Had the man open, missed it, intended for Dixon. Dixon slipped as he made his cut to stop and turn back.
Well, that was a case of Chris Miller doing everything right. He's got to be a little upset with himself. He read the defense. He got the right audible out. He managed to get the ball snapped with like a half a second on the 30-second clock. But the most important part of the whole play, he was unable to execute, and that was the throw so that Dixon had a chance to catch it.
It leaves third down and 6. And I guess to follow your line of thought about the important series, this becomes a big play for Atlanta here. 2:32 left in the first half. Down 7-0. Good protection. Runs out of time. Roberts sacks him. Second San Francisco sack.
And the third for Larry Roberts. Now let's see what Jane goes through. Oh, run. She's telling him to run. Oh, jeez. Look, we finally got a reaction from Dad. Jess puts his hat down and says, oh, oh, boy, my poor son.
Flag down on the play, which we didn't see at the time. It's downfield.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 22. That's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a first down.
Well, a break for the Falcons there. Tim McKyer, number 22, the second-year cornerback, picks up the penalty downfield
and when they
San Francisco.
When they mean illegal contact, that means that he made contact with the receiver past 5 yards from the ball downfield. At some point after those 5 yards, he made contact. Now, if Chris Miller had scrambled out of the pocket, he would have been able to do that. But as long as Miller stayed in that pocket, he's not allowed to touch the receiver downfield.
So the ball moves to the 38 of Atlanta. The Falcons keep the drive alive. 2:16 to go, first half. Niners on top, 7-0. 5-yard touchdown run on a reverse by Rice. Miller going deep, has a man open. Broken up by McKyer near the end line. Intended for Aubrey Matthews. Nothing wrong with a pass. Fine defensive play by McKyer.
That's a great throw. And again, a lot of credit to Rod Dowhour for moving his quarterback. Now, Chris Miller's just going to put this thing up. You can see him right down the middle of your screen. Number 83, Aubrey Matthews, is heading for the end zone. Now, this ball is catchable. I mean, really catchable.
McKyer with a great tip. We'll be right back. Half for the team with the top record in the NFL. Miller hits Floyd Dixon for a pickup of about 7. A flag down back where Miller was hit. Todd Shell made the tackle on the play.
It's going to be holding on Leonard Mitchell, on Charles Haley. Charles Haley has 6 sacks this year.
Offensive holding number 78. That's a 10-yard penalty and a second down.
They call it on Mike Ken. You know, those 3s and 7s look alike, I guess, when the guy's lying down on the ground.
Falcons were moving well, but are set back with a holding call. Marion Campbell looking to the future. No uncertain terms. Happy to be the head coach after having to stand in line as the Atlanta ownership looked at several other coaches after they let go Dan Henning, and then wound up giving it to the guy who'd been the former head coach and last year's defensive boss. He likes Chris Miller and the future of the Falcons. Inside handoff to Settle. Picks up only about 2 yards to the 45. Tripped up on a good defensive play by Jeff Stover, number 72.
Now, if I was the 49ers right now, I'd call a timeout. Because there's 1 minute and 24 seconds left in the half. They're letting the clock run down. It's 3rd down and a ton. 3rd down and 18. You stop the clock here, and you make them punt. But I think that Bill Walsh is probably going to settle for a 7-0 lead, it looks like, going into halftime.
You're questioning your tennis partner's strategy here?
Well, we won yesterday, so...
Miller. Interception, Williamson. Carlton Williamson snuffs out the Atlanta drive, and the 49ers will have first down at their 43.
Well, I guess that's the way you don't have to worry about using the timeout. You'll see to the left of your screen, Chris Miller does have time to throw. Now he's trying to go across the field to Aubrey Matthews. He doesn't see Carlton Williamson just hanging there. Picks it off and brings it back.
Back in Candlestick Park, and the pass intended for Rice from Steve Young is incomplete, just a little behind him. On the coverage was Bobby Butler, number 23. It'll leave 2nd and 10. 50 seconds to go. San Francisco with the interception by Carlton Williamson, giving them the start at their 43-yard line, and still time to increase their lead. 50 seconds to go, 2nd and 10. Ray Wersching thinking about a field goal opportunity should the 49ers get it into range for him. San Francisco on top, 7-0. They have had a very tough time from these Falcons. 3 wide receivers out, but it's a run try by Young, and the Falcons were ready for that. Joel Williams, Gann, and Brown all there to make sure that Young didn't get away, and we have a timeout on the field. 43 seconds left, first half. Roger Craig away from one tackler, almost away from another, but David Crudup, number 30, got enough of them to slow him up for Joel Williams. And it'll be short of the first down, and the punting unit comes on. So Atlanta takes a timeout, and credit the Falcons. Once again, they have stopped the 49ers in a very important place. It's just a 7-point game. Falcons have stopped the Niners again, and that punt will go into the end zone, and Atlanta will start from their 20-yard line. 24 seconds on the clock. A 50-yarder from Max Runniger.
I think what the Falcons have to do now is they have to be very happy with only being down 7 points to the Niners at this stage. To come out and try and move the ball up the field and possibly throw another interception and give San Francisco a chance to get on the board again would be the wrong thing for Atlanta to do. Come out, throw some. If you're going to throw something that you're confident with that won't go down the middle of the field and get bounced up in the air and picked off. Don't try and make too much out of where you are on the field.
Come out in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers to the right. Miller trying to go to the short man, Settle, who did not see the pass at all, and the guy who had the best look at it was Don Griffin of San Francisco.
That's exactly what I'm trying to talk about. Now, if that's picked off and run into the end zone, you've taken a good half of football and thrown it right out the window if you're the Atlanta Falcons. You're staying close. You're moving the ball. Your defense has done a very good job for you containing Steve Young in that offense. You know, do something positive. Finish on a positive note.
2nd and 10. For Chris Miller, if any of you saw any highlights from last week's game, you saw him with a beard. He shaved it off after the Rams game. Throws that one out of bounds as he is pursued by Charles Haley, who is a good pursuer. A flag is down.
That's going to be, I believe, intentional grounding. I don't understand. I can't understand why Ben Drive drew the flag.
Quarterback intentionally grounded a football.
Of course he did. Being chased by Charles Haley. I think you should be allowed to throw the ball out of bounds. Now, they've got some kind of screwy rule. You'll see Chris Miller swing out to the right. If he just stands up and throws the ball on the ground, that's legal. But he can't find anybody open, so he just wings it over the receiver's head. Now, I disagree with Ben Drive vehemently on that. The receiver was there, and he threw the ball over his head. Yeah, he threw the ball over Dixon's head. He didn't throw it. Yeah, he throws it away. It's not intentional grounding. I think that's a bad call. I totally disagree with you.
I wish it wouldn't be so big, Joe. Third down.
What's a guy supposed to do? Stand and get flacked?
20 yards to go for Miller from the end zone. Gets good protection. Whoa, he can throw it downfield. Is it picked up? No. Incomplete. Ronnie Lott. Well, now wait a minute. One official saying Lott had the ball. Another official signaled incomplete. But it's going to be an interception for Ronnie Lott.
I really disagree.
Only 1 second left on the clock.
I don't care. You've got a young quarterback who's played a very good half of football. Chris Miller, this is a gimme. He just throws this thing. It's a jump ball. Atlanta really has made these famous. Minnesota and Atlanta, just throwing the ball up in the air and watching it bat around. And if God smile on you, you wind up with a completion. If not, you wind up with an interception, which he does. Now, granted, it's a great interception by Ronnie Lott, but now you give San Francisco a chance to do it.
Number 5 on the season for Lott. So Young will throw it deep the other way. Incomplete. And that'll finish up the first half. So no harm, no foul, as it turns out. But the San Francisco 49ers find themselves in a football game. 7-0 lead over the Atlanta Falcons at halftime.